There wasn't supposed to be a review video today at all. I bought a guitar recently, pretty much in an emergency situation, and it was this wonderfully, thoughtfully named Ibanez GRX120SP-MLM. It costs €214 on Thomann, brand new as of right now. And the only reason I bought this guitar, and you might have seen this in my last video, was to review Richard Z's signature Fishman set.
Hey, so, I left this bit in just to explain why I own the guitar now, but that video with the Fishman pickups never happened because the set that I was sent was faulty, the bridge pickup was completely dead, and so I wasn't able to make that video, and it wouldn't be exciting anymore to make it after the launch of the pickup, so, whoopsies, I guess, but I still have the guitar and I still wanted to post the review.
That set of pickups was sent to me by Fishman just a few days prior to the release of both my video and the pickups, so I could make a review of it and, actually have time to form an opinion on them. And when Fishman mailed out the package, I realized, shit, I don't have a guitar to put two humbuckers into right now. And so I used my connections at Ibanez to very quickly receive this GRX 120 whatever the fuck. Just to be clear, even though I didn't get this guitar for free, I got it at a artist pricing discount. I paid exactly €122 and a couple of cents for it. Here's the invoice. But despite that, considering that A, this is a €200 guitar, and B, I paid more than half price for it, I consider this just a purchase, and that gives me the right to make a review on it and say anything that I want, which I'm about to do. But I wouldn't even have felt the need to do that at all if this thing hadn't somehow stood out to me as soon as I had it in my hands. It's not a new release or anything, it's been out for a while, it is just a run-of-the-mill Ibanez Geo entry-level guitar, €214, completely standard. But something about it already stood out to me even just in the product photos on Thomann, because I did pick this thing out of a lineup of every currently existing Ibanez Geo guitar before I emailed Ibanez and pressured them into shipping it out for me the same day. And once I had it in my hand, something just clicked and I thought I have to make a video about this because I don't want anyone to buy any other Ibanez Geo guitar anymore. You've seen how beautiful this thing is in the B-roll footage from earlier. It's incredible, it is stunning. Up close, when the light hits it just right, it's quite sparkly and metallic. Like on camera right now, it doesn't really look metallic, it just looks like a really shiny, bright blue. I just love it. But it's not just the body that is stunning, it is also the headstock and the neck which are matching. And of course everything is in a satin finish. This is especially important to me on the neck, because Ibanez does have some guitars like the very low-end Paul Stanley signature Iceman, like the PS60 in Silver Sparkle, which is a fully glossed black finish. And while I do like glossy finishes, especially in black, I find them to be quite charming. On the neck, it's just horrible. Like, it'll get sticky, and it gets especially sticky once you start sweating while playing. You'll get stuck all the time. It shows fingerprints, it shows scratches way more than a satin finish. Necks should either be natural or satin. No glossy necks. It's got a poplar body, a maple neck, 22 medium nickel frets on this Jatoba fretboard. It has a GRX neck profile, which means nothing, it's just the model name of this guitar, but I like it. It's thin and shreddy, not as thin as the Wizard neck, which is good, that's too thin for me. It's kind of comparable to, say, a Kramer Pacer or a Kramer Beretta neck profile, which I like. I have a Kramer Beretta right here. It's got two Ibanez Infinity R humbuckers. Actually, these ones are just called Infinity. I don't know what the difference is, probably just the absence of the letter R in the product description. These ones have been chrome covered to suit the overall aesthetics of the guitar. Sound-wise, they are quite established as just being very decent for low-end guitars like this. They are in literally every low-end Ibanez. It's got a 5-way switch, 1 volume, 1 tone, and a tremolo that throws it out of tune less than I expected, given the fact that these are just cheap in-house Ibanez tuners and a cheap tremolo. This is actually decent. I mean, beginners don't use tremolos, but this guitar isn't just for beginners. That's why I'm making this video. The frets are impeccably filed. I will prove this to you with my patent-pending balloon test. Literally nothing. Again, the neck profile allows you to play it smoothly, beautifully, and fantastically, so I guess now is the time for me to do that, so as to prove to you that it sounds good. See, told you, it sounds good. I usually wait like a week and spend a week with a guitar before I make a review on YouTube, but I couldn't do that in this case, literally impossible, because as soon as I turn the camera off for this review, I will put new pickups in it, which will defeat the entire purpose of a review video. Having said that, let's get into some of the cons of it, but before we do that, I have to go get changed. Into this beautiful, very comfortable, highly limited, and for legal reasons, immaculately thought out 6-string TV inspirational Donut Man t-shirt available through the first link in my description. These were limited to 50 units to begin with, the stock is in the low double digits right now, and this design is never returning, so go grab yours while you have the chance. First link in the description. Thank you. This first one is quite nitpicky, but you're going to realize why I'm mentioning it in a second. It doesn't have a coil split. And given that it has two humbuckers, it really could benefit from one. Now, if you're thinking that this is kind of a reach for €214, let me introduce you to something. This here is the Donna Seeker ST something or other. I don't really remember the name. It's from a way old sponsorship with Donna that I did before Christmas last year. This is from a beginner bundle. It looks quite similar color-wise to the Ibanez, not quite as pretty, but you know. And while despite the fact that I'm a big Strat guy, I don't like this thing as much as the Ibanez, what it does have is a push-pull coil split, and that is despite the fact that it's an HSS guitar, so it only has one humbucker, whereas this thing has two humbuckers in it and therefore could benefit even more from a push-pull coil tap in the volume knob, just to enrich the experience even more, either for a beginner who's just kind of, looking to explore different tones, for a modder who wants to use this thing as a mod platform and it'll already have a push-pull pot, or just for someone whose first, second, or third guitar this was to continue using after that novice stage because it has features that other guitars don't. Not remotely a deal breaker or even a big deal at all, it's just something that could enrich the experience of owning and playing it without costing virtually any more money. And even if it did, I'd gladly pay 5 or 10 extra bucks just to have that in here, because I'd be paying 5 or 10 bucks for a push-pull pot and then have to put that in here anyway, so it saves some effort and it's good. And point of criticism number 2 is the plastic nut. I think as a society we should all be moving past plastic and onto graph tech or something else that is not very expensive but also very durable, because just charge 7 or 8 extra bucks for the guitar and put a Graphtec nut on it. This thing will wear down within 6 or 7 months. It's easy to replace, but a beginner won't know what the issue is. I didn't know what the issue was with my Bullet Strat back then, and I continued to wonder for a long time why it didn't sound or play good anymore and why the action was so fucked. And this is not a place on the guitar that you look at as a complete novice. So I had to take it into a guitar store and say, what is wrong with this? And they replaced the nut for me. Again, not a deal breaker or anything, because almost every low-end guitar has this. It's just something that, as a company like Harley Benton or Squier, you stand out quite a bit by not doing it and putting Graphtec on your guitars instead. But given just how heavily the pros outweigh the cons in this situation, I have to give this guitar an easy 8.5 out of 10 for what it is, and that makes it the best entry-level Ibanez I have ever played by far. Not necessarily the best entry-level guitar for this price. Harley Benton have really been upping their game recently. For 180 bucks, you can get a Harley Benton that is as good as this, especially when comparing it to something like this Ibanez PGM Micro, which is currently without pickups, that I used once for my video about guitar scale lengths and then never really again because it is not all that good. If you want this gorgeous Ibanez GRX120SP-MLM of your own, yes, I memorized that name all the way throughout this video, I'm quite proud of myself, then my affiliate links for Thomann and Sweetwater are right in the description. Get one, treat yourself, it's very good. Even if you're using it as a mod platform, which I did do for that Fishman video, it's very nice, and I say that having not been prompted to review this thing whatsoever. In fact, my Ibanez rep that had this sent to me was quite surprised that I wanted to make a review on it in the first place. As was I, because I wasn't expecting much out of this thing. So, thank you so much for watching. Big thanks to my Patreon members for supporting the channel. Their names are floating around somewhere over here. Patreon is in the description as well. I'm going to try to not throw as much stuff at you in the end of my videos, going forward. So, latest video, subscribe, social media in the description. Goodbye.